Okay, guys, I'm making a full screen of my computer. Now, sorry. I'm making a full screen of my computer right now. So I'm going to type, please just watch what I'm doing. I'm going to type CLS. I'll press enter. It erases everything. So I'm going to do ipconfig to configure to confirm my configuration. I'm still using my self-assigned IP address, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to my network settings. I'm going to go to local area connection, property. Then I'm going to go to IP version 4, property, and I'll say obtain IP address what? Automatically. Okay, let's see what is going to happen. Okay, something is happening. You can see it's actually much faster now in terms of communication. Huh? You see now, we now have a network location, right? Because now we have a router. So we need a location. So we have a router. So I'm going to take work network because that's where I'm currently in now. Okay? So I'm going to take work network. So I'm going to click close. So if I come to details, can you see our IP address is 192.168.0? I'm actually using 105. Are we together? You saw we now have gateway, DNS, DHCP server, all the configurations. Now, the next step we need to do now, we want to actually configure the router. Because the reason why we decided to do this change in configuration is to what? Configure the wireless router. So I'm going to go to my Explorer now. I want to watch this closely, very closely. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to type the IP address. I'm going to just say ask me later. So I'm going to come here and type the IP address 192.168.0. what? Because .0.1 is the IP allocated to the adapter of the router. Because the router also have an adapter as well. So that's the IP address of the router. So I'm going to press enter. And it's going to ask me, you can see the page, right? And of course, just close this. Remember, they said there was no password, right? So I'm going to click what? Login. Now, for best practice, we were asked that the first thing you should do is to do what? Change the what? Change the default password. So if you scroll down, this is the firmware. Can you see the firmware? That's the firmware system. If you want support, you can go to support status. You can check your status, advanced, and tools. So what we need to do, let's go to advanced. Now, remember, this is for D-Link. It changes from router to router. Are you getting me? A Link 6 router from Cisco may have a different interface, but they all say the same thing. Yeah. So let's scroll down now. That is for advanced. Let's go to tools. I'll come back there. And on tools, we have our admin password. Actually, there was no password before, right? Is that not correct? So admin password. So I'll come here and put Monday 2014. Monday 2014. It's asking for user password. This user password is actually for guest users, people you just want to allow them to log into the system. Did you guys remember we talked about authentication? So if I want to authenticate people before they connect to the wireless, I can come here and say enable graphical what? Authentication. Are you getting me? So anybody that's going to the internet would need to also still authenticate as well. So I'm going to check this. If you come to the side here, this actually, you can read more about what you're trying to do on this part. You can click on more. It will show you more of these tools you're trying to use. Okay? I'll come here and click on save settings. Now there's going to be a problem because it will try to boot now, and now it will ask me to now enter my password now, because before there was no password, right? So it's waiting for, I should wait for 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2 and what? 1 and 0. So once I click continue now, it's going to ask me to log in now. If I click login, it's going to say invalid password. So I'm going to try again and say Monday 2014. And bingo, we are back. So we have successfully changed the password. So it will not take a user who understands that it was Monday 2014 I'm using to log in. Are we together? Okay. Now, if you notice, the first thing you see there, it says internet connection. And the next part, it says internet connection optional. Now, you guys know that we don't have internet connection, right? So I'm going to skip it. Are we together? I'm just going to go to wireless settings. So I'm going to go to wireless settings. Now, for wireless settings, this is where we'll come and configure our wireless configuration. Remember, this wireless configuration is a LAN, wireless LAN. But before I want to configure my wireless LAN, I want to do the network settings. It's from the beginning first, which is the DHCP settings, your DNS and whatever you have, right? So I'm going to go scroll up. I'm going to come to network settings, and I'm going to scroll down. You notice our IP address is what? 192. What? 168.0. What? I don't want that. I want .4.1. Are we together? I want to use the default IP address. It says what's the device name? D-Link router. I can change it if I want to change it, but I want to leave it by that. Local domain name. Of course, if I'm not using a local domain, if I have a local domain, I can put it there. But if I don't have a local domain, I can just leave it blank. I can skip it. Not everything you need to fill in. Do you know what DNS relay means? DNS relay means that if the router is not able to what? Resolve the name, it will relay it to another DNS server. Okay.
So it's best to keep it checked.
Yeah. Did you notice here it automatically changed already?
Yeah.
Even before I came here. Let me go back, because some of you thought it was maybe it was a joke. So let me come back again. Did it change automatically?
Yes.
So I'll come back again. .4.1. Did it change?
Yes.
But you see, the IP address is actually starting from 100. I actually want it to start from 1 and end in 6, because I only have 5 computers. I don't want more. I don't want, yeah. Because by the time you give it more, there's a tendency that others, if they have the password, they'll be able to connect.
Okay.
There's a 7 person coming, you don't know.
Yeah. 1,440 minutes. How many hours is that? We can use the calculator. Divided by what? That gives you how many hours?
24.
Now 24 hours is how many days?
1 day.
So the IP address can only last for 1 day.
Yes. Interesting.
So after 1 day you don't renew, in the next 24 hours, the IP address will be given to somebody else. So I can come in here, I can increase the hours. Are you getting me?
I see it's in
In minutes, yes. So if 24 hours times 60,
basically it's 60 days. Right?
no, 24 hours times 60 will give me 1,440. So how many hours will give me 8 days? That will be 24 times 8 equals to what? 192 times what? 60. That will give me what?
Sharp. Why?
You see, automatically locks me out because I'm idle. So I'll go back again. So when you're idle, it takes it out as well. So I come here. I want from number 1 to what? Now you all know who's going to be number 1. Is that not correct? Who is number 1? The router. Is that not correct? The router will be number 1. Because I've already assigned it here. Look at it.
Yeah.
I can even give the router number 6, but number 1 and 5 will go to the rest of the other users. But it's not really ethical, right? Yeah, so we'll put number 1 there. Now let's go on. You guys remember Win Server? You guys remember Wins? Win Server, which is the older technology than DNS. So if you want a NetBIOS announcement, you can always put that. Did you see Always Broadcast? DHCP, right? So all the users who are connected, they will have a broadcast. We're not using a Win Server, so we'll skip this. Huh? Did you see DHCP reservation? Did you guys remember I told you that there's a way you can statically assign IP address to a DHCP server using a DHCP server? So in order for you to do that, you need to know the person's MAC address. Are you getting me? So if I come here, I will paste your MAC address. So every time you connect, that will be the only IP address I will be giving to you. That range. I don't want to enable it, so I'll just skip it. Skip that. Did you see everybody?
Hey.
Why am I one size?
Can you see everybody that is connected to my computer? Did you connect to the wireless? Okay, can you see their names? Can you see all of them? Because they connected to my wireless. All I need to do is to revoke. I can revoke them. Or I can copy their MAC address, paste it on Notepad, take my time, go to the MAC featuring, paste it there, and prevent them from connecting. Okay. So I'm going to click Save Settings. Something is going to happen. The IP address cannot be on the same LAN IP address of what? Are you getting me? It says the IP address cannot be on the same LAN. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come in here and say dot what? 2. Are we together? Okay. So I'll click Save. Everything is saved. But you see, there's going to be a problem because my network will need to change as well. Because remember, I was using .0, .1. So if you come back in here, if I come back, there's going to be a problem here. So let's go back to the IP address. Let's say continue. Something's going to happen. It's not going to respond. But we all know that, we all know the IP address, right? So I'm going to type 192.168.4. what? It's still not going to respond. Because my configuration is what? Wrong. Are you seeing it? So how do we resolve this? It's simple. You can either put off the switch. Yeah, you can put off the switch and put it on back. Or you can say diagnose. So what diagnose will do is that it will put it off and put it on again. So it will put off your network adapter, put it on again, and the issue will be resolved. So let's give it a while. If you notice that it's trying to resolve the problem, so you see that the network will go off. Just be watching my network adapter. You see that it's going to go off. It's trying to resolve the issue. Collecting results. You see resetting. Can you see resetting now? Resetting local area network adapter. Okay, you see it's off now. So it's going to come back on again. So let's see if the issue was resolved. So it's verifying whether the issue has been resolved.
So will it also tell you what the problem is? It just automatically.
It resolved the problem. Sometimes it tells you what was resolved. In some cases, yeah. Most times DNS, DHCP, and things like that, it will tell you that it has been resolved. Okay, it's fine. I think my issue has been resolved because I can see my network is connected. So I'll just click close.
Yes.
If I come back to local area connection, if I go back to details, do I have 4.2 now?
Yes.
Exactly. So now let me go to the browser and I type 192. .168.4. Dot 4 dot what? 1. Dot 1 is for the router. If I press enter, do we have the router back?
Yes.
Exactly. So Monday 2014. That's it. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next step I want to do is to go to the wireless settings. Now on the wireless settings, I'll click on wireless settings because we're not busy with the internet. So I'm going to use, I don't want to use a wizard. I want to do it manually. Are you getting me? So I'm going to call manual wireless setup. Now, if you notice, it's a wireless enabled.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, it's enabled, right? What's the name of my wireless? D-Link. So I'll call this Sam's Group. That would be the name I'm calling it. Do you see the wireless? It says always on. Is that not correct? And it's checked. Now, did you see the mode? It said mixed mode, right? Wireless N, G, and what? So if I only just want people with wireless N to connect, I just say only N. Meaning if you don't have N, good luck. So if your wireless adapter is only G and B, you won't be able to connect. Only wireless N. But best practice actually demands you to use what? All the mode. Are you getting me? If you notice, the channel scan is automatic, right? And if you notice, it says use best transmission. Are you seeing it? So it will automatically use the best transmission. If I will check this, I can come and now decide which channel I want to use. But I will just click on auto to use this best. You see visibility is what? Visible. Huh? Okay. Do I have any security mode yet?
No.
So I'm going to go to the security mode from that back row, except Rusty, right? Is it you? You? No, you. Apart from you, every other person at that back row, you are leaving this classroom by 2. You think you can? You think I'm wasting my time here? You think it's a waste of time? You are the only class that have taught wireless network configuration, how to set up switch. Go downstairs, ask for all the registers of students who have since January and last year who did A+ and M+, if they know how to set up a switch and a router. If I clicked on WIP, you guys all know that WIP, it's not a very strong encryption key. Is that not correct? It's actually more weaker, and it's not that it does not contain any encryption. Now, if I go to WAP Personal, we all know that WAP Personal, it's for individuals to use a pre-shared key. Did you notice the word there, pre-shared key there? Did you see it? Now, this is when you're working with, how will I call it, a hotspot or a personal wireless network. But in the case of an enterprise company like big corporations like NamPower, they won't actually use the WAP Personal because it's not a personal network. It's a corporate network. So we call it WAP what?
Enterprise.
Now, did you notice that it cannot enable WAP Enterprise where WPS is what? Enabled. Because it's not secured. So WPS has to be what? Disabled. In order for what? WAP Enterprise to be what? Enabled. So we will need to actually disable WPS in order for us to be able to use what? WAP Enterprise. Now, by the time you disable WPS, what will happen is that when you click WAP Enterprise, it will actually give you the radius configuration. It will say what's the radius IP server IP address, what is the port number, and what is the pre-shared key of the radius. By the time you put it and you connect, of course, you guys have to be on the same network. Are you getting me? Then the moment you put that in, the server will not take over the ability of the wireless. It's like you guys who have anti-spyware, antivirus software on your computer. You'll notice that the moment you install antivirus, your firewall is no longer controlled by your operating system. The anti-spyware now controls your firewall. Is that not correct? That is exactly what Radius does. It takes control over the device. Okay, so we're going to use WAP Personal. So we're going to use Monday. Okay, again. So yeah, because of course I was talking. I'm going to go to wireless settings.
So, but if it switches over, once you start a demo, does it save your...
No, it doesn't save because If the way when I wanted to talk to them, I would have just clicked save. Then it will save the settings.
Because the even same group is removed to delete.
Yeah, because I didn't save the settings. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to put it Sam group. And I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to take WAP personal. And I'm going to put Monday 2014. So I'm going to screw up. I'm going to say save what? Settings. So it will refresh as well. But you see, for me, I don't have a problem. I don't need wireless, so I'm already connected. It's the rest people. It's for the rest users who would need wireless and will be able to connect. Now, some of you may be trying to connect now. If you try to connect, it will show connected, but when you go to your computer, you see 169. If all my 6 computers are connected. So that's where your security comes in. Now, the rest part I wanted to show you is where you now have advanced. Or you can come to tools. Tools is where you now have your email settings, system updates. Now, if you want to now take security to the next level, you now come to where? Advanced. Now, you guys remember port mirroring? This is port forwarding, right? Are you getting me? This is port forwarding. This is for virtual server. Remember we talk about VLANs? Did you talk about VLANs? So I can come here and type in an IP address and create a VLAN and assign it to one of these computers, Williamson, that is connected to the system. I can assign the virtual IP address to that particular computer. Put the port number, the traffic. Now, another part you can also take control, it's network filtering. You guys remember filter traffic, right? Is that not correct? So I can come in here, I can say I want to turn it on. I'll say turn on filter on an allowed computer. Meaning I only just want to allow certain computers. Why? Even the rest have the password, they will not be allowed. These are the only group that is allowed automatically. Or is the other way around. I just want to disallow certain group of individuals. So I will come in here and I say turn on MAC filtering and what? Deny the list of these computers. So what I will need to do is to look for the computer either for client list or even LAN computers I can deny you as well. Yeah, look at it. That's his William C. PC. I can click on it and I can say you are denied. He will also be denied as well. Then the next part is wireless protection setup, WPS. You remember it was enabled. That's why we could not do the WAP Enterprise, right? So I can come here and what? Disable it. Can you see the PIN number? You can also generate a new PIN. Then you can go to a guest zone. This is an add-on feature where you can limit access to your guests. Are you getting me? If you enable this, you can now put a security mode for your guest users. But most of the times, it's usually maybe within an hour that they actually log in.
So it can be set.
Yes. Then remember your router. Remember your router. The reason why it's giving me that pop-up is giving me that I'm not changing the settings. Are you getting me? That's why the pop-up is coming up. Remember your router. Remember by default, we are only using what? A dynamic route currently, right? So if I want to create a static route, I will come in here and type in the route IP address. So that's where you put in the static route. You can see I will put the name, the destination, the gateway, and all of that. Are we together?
Sure.
Advanced wireless. This is where you can come in and configure your advanced wireless settings. How intervals you want your security, your transmission power, if you want it to be medium or low. If I say low, do you know what will happen? The wireless signals will just be within here. It won't go that side. It's just here.
My goodness.
So I'm reducing the radio.
The radio.
If I put high, it will get to the other room. If I put medium, halfway. You don't even want it to go to the next door. You just put low. So it's just when you say low, you must be close to it. Transmission power. So guys, those are things you. Then the other part I want to show you, it's a web feature. You guys remember website, right? So this is where I can come in here. I will type Facebook. So by the time you say Facebook, it will say denied. But you see,
When you want to
remember, I will need to make sure I must make sure I've already set the deny computers as well. So where do I go and put the deny computers? I go to access control. So access control is where I will come in and I will enable access control. Then I will be able to now set up a policy. I will click add. I will say next. Give it a policy name. Facebook. Next. I will say always. Next. I will now have to now put the computer. Where's Williamson?
Yeah.
Are you using the virtual machine and your computer? Because that's why they are two like this. So I can say Williamson's. You can see automatically it gives me his IP address. I will click on OK. I can add as many. That's added. I'll click next. And I will say block all access. Or log on web access only. Or block some access. I'll say apply for web featuring. I'll click next. I will say enable web featuring. I'll click save. That is for Williamson now. So I'm going to put the web featuring that I don't want Williamson to have access to. Okay, Williamson, which of your computer is on that list? Is it the virtual machine or your host? The one I just added now.
PC.
Yeah, PC.
Yeah, the one with 104. Is a virtual one. Okay, so I'm going to go to web featuring now. I'm going to come to deny computers, facebook.com. Now, Williamson, can you type facebook.com and tell me what happens after the sequence is done? Then tell the class what is on your what does your computer say when you say facebook.com. Okay, can you tell the computer type Facebook? Remember, on the computer that is having 104. Yeah. What is it saying? Yeah, but to come up with some information. What does it say? What is that? The 104? Okay. We will not be able to test it now because Facebook is an internet IP address. It's not a local IP address. Yeah. If it was if we have internet access here now, that will actually work. So all I need to do is to just plug an internet access on this portion, and that is it. Then we are done. So next week we'll find time. One of the days.